This week, I put a lot of emphasis on learning functions to make your code look cleaner and easier to work with. I'm about to show you something which absolutely blows that out of the water in terms of how useful it is, but it does take a lot of time to get your head around it. And if it's really confusing to you at first, then that just means that you're a human, and that's not some sort of universal intelligence that understands things immediately. So I really just wanted to show you this here. This code here, I have just put the little piece of code to make it do Python 3 in Trinket, so that's specific to Trinket. Then, as per usual, I've imported random and time. Nothing special there at all. And then, as you can see here, I've got a comment here that says make a monster template. Now, a template is something that you can create lots of things from. So I could create lots of monsters from this template. And I've just made a note here that it can attack, chat, and draw. Then you'll see here, I've actually made something called a class, and there are quite a few lines of code here that I've hidden. And the point is that I've hidden it because now that I've made it and it works, I don't have to think about it anymore. And so I don't want to be looking at it. All I know is that I've got a template, almost like a mold, that I can create new monsters that can attack, chat, and draw. I'm going to show you how to use this so that you understand why you would bother making a class at all. So as you can see here, it says make a monster from the template. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to call my monster Fred. That's just a variable. And I'm going to say Fred equals a monster. As you can see, I've made the monster class here. Fred equals a monster. And now Fred can do anything. So, well, not anything, but anything that I've programmed it to do. So let's say Fred dot attack, and if I hit run, it says the monster uses vomit. It inflicts 15 damage. If I run it again, the monster uses hit. It inflicts 7 damage. Let's experiment with some of the other things Fred can do. Fred can chat. So if I hit run, it says, I think I might go and get a pizza later. So, how's your wife Susie doing? And if I hit run again, it's going to say different things every time. I was thinking of taking up a teaching position at Lynham High School. Fancy a cup of tea? I must say I'm quite fond of the stuff. So Fred can chat. The last thing that Fred can do is draw himself. And let's see how successful that is. If I hit run, you can see Fred has drawn himself over here. Now, what I've created is called an object. Fred is an object, and he contains two types of things. He contains information. So, for example, I believe I called it health. If I just print Fred dot health. Yes. Okay. So Fred has 56 health, as you can see. If I run it again, he has 46 health. So when Ted's being created, he's being given a random amount of health. So he has what we call parameters, so things about him. He also has things that he can do. So he has information about him and he has things that he can do. So for example, attack, chat, and draw. So Fred is an object. When we program like this, it's called object-oriented programming. And I think you can see how useful that would be if you had a really complex game to have a whole lot of, let's say, enemies. You have one template and then you can make a whole lot of new enemies, and the enemies know how to perform certain actions. They know how to remember their own health. They know how to do all that sort of stuff. In this video, I'm not actually going to explain the magic that happens in class here. That's all been code folded away. But what I am going to do with this video is I'm going to post a link to this particular piece of code. Open it up if you like and have a play around with it. Have a look at it. See if it makes any sense. Try changing some things and see how that affects it. If you press copy, you should be able to make your own copy of it and save it and play around with it. You don't have to use this in this project, It's probably going to be really confusing to get your head around, but don't worry about it. I just wanted to introduce the concept because object-oriented programming is incredibly useful for making games.